Hello, my name is Rose and I'm one of the top players of the Forever Winter. Whether you're a totally new player trying to get your bearings, or an old scav returning from an earlier build wondering why mech hunting isn't viable anymore, I'm here to help you navigate the 2026 version of the Forever Winter. And we've got a lot to go over in this wild ride, so let's get right into it. Come on! Brush my hair, read my lines, it's time to go. Put on my suit, put the makeup on, put on the show. To the haze silence. Being perfectly real with you, when you just start out, you're probably going to get your teeth kicked in a bit, but it's okay, it's okay. That'll only keep happening for a while, and I'll help get you past that. Now, this video is an update and follow-up on my 2025 Comprehensive New Player's Guide. I'm not going to be retreading old ground, so this will all be new information in this one, and if there's anything this video doesn't cover, go back and check out the old one. Starting off on a fresh account, the only option available to you is the training mission. So let's speed through that while I help set your expectations for what the game is and how you should be playing it. Of course I say should be with a big old asterisk. You do you, boo. But the Forever Winter is a survival horror themed extraction shooter, with a gameplay loop built around trying to steal stuff, your progression being locked behind finding very specific items at times, all while managing just how much fire you're taking at any given time. Which is a big stumbling block for a lot of people. Many think this game is like a stealth game, where ideally you shouldn't be shooting at all. That's not the case. You will be in constant conflict. Your job as a rat is to manage how much of that conflict you're dealing with. To minimize your exposure, take out small groups when possible, and move quickly. As you progress through the game, your raids will get longer, some of them being over an hour, and death will mean you lose everything. Which is why I'm making this video, to help get you started and set you up to succeed out in the tunnels. Here we are coming up to the second phase of the tutorial, where for the first time we enter the innards. This will very shortly become our home base. For now, you just gotta pick up a bottle of water, place it a few feet over to the left, and then we'll have our introduction to combat in the world's most surprising ambush. I know I'm overplaying a bit, but we gotta kill some guys. Specifically, low-ranking Eurasian cyborgs. These fun little swarmers don't have any weapons, so they just run up and try to smack you. But put aside your zombie assumptions. These guys are perfectly sentient and sapient. The Eurasian faction just manufactures them out of the poorest of their society. And they only get repairs if they make objectives. Thus the little torso friends. And I am afraid this is the only tutorial that you're going to get in the game. So I hope you were reading those little tooltip pop-ups, because that's all you got. And no, they don't tell you everything you need to know. But just because the training mission's completed does not mean the tutorial is, because we've got quite a few entry-level quests to touch on. But I do have tips and tricks to help you out. And here is my first tip for very new players. If you are having a really hard time getting forward in the game, and you just need to get some water, maybe a little cash, maybe a little character experience, anytime you quit the game and log back in, you can do the training mission again. And this time you'll go through it with whatever character you were playing as last, rather than the old man that the game starts you with. And changing characters from the old man is something I recommend you do right away. My personal preference is Scav Girl. She is by far the fastest and most maneuverable character. But Shaman, the second fastest character, is also a fine choice. Exploring and learning the game will be a lot easier when you're more maneuverable. If you look up reviews of the game, there's a lot of people that complain about the movement being a bit slow, which it is slower and heavier than most games by design. Fundog doesn't want you zooming around like Doom Guy, but it's particularly noticeable early on. And that's because of the level system. Every time you level up your character, they get a health and movement speed increase, and then by higher prestiges, Scav Girl can go really fast. Making her honestly the best character in the game, at least in my opinion. And while these lighter characters do have less health to compensate for their increased speed, it's honestly not that much less. And you will be more survivable if you are just not shot because you weren't in the way of the bullet to begin with, than if you had more health. Tanking isn't really an option here. Even basic enemies just have way too much damage output. The advantage of heavier characters is not survivability at all, but instead carrying capacity, but that's not relevant until you have the upgraded rigs. Alright, now let's talk about 2 glitches that'll really help you out. I can't promise these are going to stay in the game forever, they almost certainly will not, but they're here right now and you can make use of them. About 1 billion people on my last video have commented that you can skip the loot timer when opening containers by just double tapping the press key, default being E, which isn't super reliable but does work and just shows everything. And the next little glitch tip is if you have a 5.45 gun, load up a bunch of surplus ammo, because that gives you a free instantaneous reload for your first reload. But only if you're shooting the initial magazine, which will always have standard ammo in it. But only if you have absolutely no standard ammo to replace it, just surplus or cryo. It's a little thing, but it can really save your ass if, say, you're using the surplus rifle. But when you start the game out, the game already gives you better options than the surplus rifle, namely in the USP pistol. And I recommend you take it with you. Because while the sights are misaligned, and yeah, I know. My eyes hurt too. I don't even know if this truly is broken, or somebody just really poorly explained what a 6 o'clock hold is to Fun Dog, which if any devs are watching, this is not it. But if you aim just between the top of the rear sights, you'll have exactly your aim point, and headshots will kill any infantry in the game, making you much more lethal than if using any of the rifle or shotgun options you have. A trait it shares with all 45 ACP guns, as well as 308 guns and 50 cal guns. And just to clarify, it is only headshots. They have a headshot multiplier that absolutely wrecks infantry. And other cartridges that have similar base damage outputs just don't share that. Now you only have one, and if you die you lose it, but you can get it back via a couple of quests. Either this one in Scrapyard Nexus, Discover the Truth, which is from the Scavenger tab, which is a real quick run in, run out, grab an item quest. Or by this one, Mercy Killing, from the European tab, where you kill 10 cyborgs. Note the cyborg crawlers nor the scramblers count for this, they have to be the upright ones. But it can be done absolutely anywhere, and you can do it across multiple raids if 10 in one raid is too much for you. And if that's not bold enough for you, I recommend the quest Enclave Strike from the European tab. This is to kill 3 Eurasian assaulters, which are semi-elite infantry, in Scorched Enclave, one of the earliest maps, so it's very easy to access right off the get-go in the game. But they're still fairly easy to take out with headshots at range, even with very basic equipment. And you can do all 3 kills across multiple raids if you want to. And yes, they do spawn on night shifts, which is a fairly easy way of isolating. They are dangerous enemies, but the Spectre M4 is amazing. It's honestly an endgame weapon, you don't need anything else to succeed. Of course, I said you get those from quests, and they are not available right away. First, we have to unlock our quest givers. As a fresh player, new from the tutorial mission, the only quest giver we have is Slade, our Scav faction rep, and the very first couple of quests will just have us running around the innards. The game's first quest, Guts and All, just has you run to the various stations throughout, all of which are physical locations in the innards, but the second quest, Preparations, is a little different. You need to go up here to this Vendors tab, because no matter how long you look, you're never going to find Bunko in the innards, you have to buy it from here. But our third quest will have us getting out of the innards, and into the Labyrinth, by which they mean the tunnels. The quest objective is simple enough, it's just extract back to the innards, and I'm not going to bring much in the way of supplies with me. They won't really be necessary for this. As we begin, I'd like you to take a look at the top center of the screen, up at the compass. We can see 3 icons and 2 varieties of them. These ones here on the right with a little staircase, those are our extracts back to the surface into the main maps of the game. And the one without goes back to the innards, so that's what we're aiming for. Now you can either run up to the extracts themselves to find out where they go, or you could play a shaman and he'll just know. Now the tunnels themselves are semi-randomized, so I can't tell you exactly how to get there. Not only will my tunnel layout be different from yours, they will change. Roaming around down here, it's all about exploration. But there are containers around and loot to be found, but also enemies, which you can ID by pressing Z while looking at them. In this case, we got pursuers, which is the game just telling me to go fuck myself. At this stage with this equipment, I cannot beat these guys. They're just gonna own me. But this is why we picked Scav Girl. She's fast enough that we can kind of just juke around them. So long as we hide behind the pillars and move fast, we should be just fine. Taking another pass around the back here, and yeah, up the stairs we go. Those guys are all equipped with auto shotguns, by the way. It's a little dangerous. But we're fine, it's safe, it's fine. Because we're already gone. Now, when you're in the little connecting sections, the staircases and hallways, you're generally pretty safe in the tunnels. The only enemies you're likely to encounter are the random drone or two, which can be avoided if you just move quickly, or easily engage with your shotgun. But these large rooms, the open spaces, those are where enemies can be found. So really bear that in mind and always check your corners. Now for us, like I mentioned, we're just trying to extract back to the innards, so we're looking for this pipe. This way right here with these graffitis demarcate the rest area, and in Tunnel A and Tunnel B, there is an extract directly to the innards next to the rest stop. And if you die down here in the tunnels, this is where your tombstone's gonna spawn. And if you click on that drone there, it'll just send you to the menu so you can pause, essentially. But looky here, we're done. Back to the innards and quest complete. And that brings us to quest number 4, This Shall Burn, which is honestly much of the same, except this time we're going up to the surface. Specifically, we're going to be heading towards Scorched Enclave. Though that's just the choice I'm making, you can equally go to Ashen Mesa. Now, since we are going up to the surface, I'm actually going to bother bringing some real guns with me this time, specifically the USP that I mentioned earlier, as well as a small abundance of small health packs. Hopping in, we get the Notice of Happiness. So this little pop-up here tells us there's a vendor in the tunnels. These traveling vendors sell guns and ammo, and they sell some of the best late-game guns that you can get. But if you don't have at least 100k in the bank, there's absolutely no point in even finding them. Rushing ahead, this is probably the last time I'm going to show you my run through Tunnel A, just because it's going to be pretty samey. As for the next few quests, we're going to be spending a lot of time at Scorched Enclave specifically, but I wanted to show you that in the tunnels, not every path is obvious. Entering the same room as before, we're going to take a hard right and go up these boxes. Or conduits, whatever, to find the true path to the Enclave. Always remember in the tunnels, not everything is as it seems, and you should really check around. Keep your eyes open, because you never know what might actually be a path. And because the tunnels are a maze, you can't just follow the compass to get where you're going, unfortunately. Like right now, we're heading the exact opposite of our icons, but trust me, we're gonna get where we're going. Now, I said we're going to Scorched Enclave, and I chose that one very specifically because there's a lot of early quests in Scorched Enclave. But when you enter a map from the tunnels, you're going to enter into one of the entry points. And they are randomized every time you enter from the tunnels. You'll go to a different one, and there's no way of guaranteeing which it'll be. And each entry comes with its own set of extraction points. Though Scorched Enclave is a very small map, so each entry point only has one. But up top, it's not a maze, you can just follow your compass to get to them. And the exits use the exact same icons as you can find in the tunnels. And here we are at the eastern entry, the bunkers. Let's bring up a little map here. Scorched is a series of battlements, bunkers, and open fields that you should avoid at all costs. We're starting in the east here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap up around this way. And you can see there's a little loot container here for me to scavenge through. And I'm going to wrap around the side of this battlement here, and I'm going to climb up and over it. Look for any jutting out portion of these, and you can climb over them, and this is a huge advantage to your mobility versus the AI. The NPCs will follow the actual staircases and the like. You don't have to, and that makes getting away from them much easier. Which is mildly important if you want to actually keep any of the things we're looting. Enemies alert members of their own faction to any violence committed against them, so you should try to avoid picking fights if you can. But suffer not a drone to live. Their elevation advantage and extreme accuracy are a huge threat, though the groundlings tend to be easier to just evade. Like, now. As I mentioned, you cannot escape conflict, particularly up on the surface, but speed and mobility will keep you alive. Though it looks like these cyborgs aren't really giving me any rest, so let's just take out the trash here for a quick second. Bing, bang, boom, bang, bam. But it's always important to know when you're beat, and that's a few too many for me, so let's just head towards the extraction. As you can see up by my compass, it's far to the northwest. Ooh, a mystery box, don't mind if I do, and that does fill up my large item slot. So I'm just going to rush right across the open field of doom here. Hey! Alright, let's kill this thing. You're never going to outrun the scramblers, so just kill them when you see them. Ignoring the big mechs, they're off playing with tanks. They'll ignore you, too. Generally, the big boys have better things to deal with than lonely scavs. Just don't make yourself a problem. And I do have to kind of juke around some Europans here, but it's a-okay. And by juke out, of course, I just mean execute. If I can stop missing here for a minute, these EOD troopers will all be dead. A quick shot to the head usually does it just fine. Gonna make a few kills and... ooh! Definitely picking that up. And with that, we're done. Quest 4 complete. And for the first time, we're getting multiple quests at once. Quests 5, 6, and 7, Bin Pigs, Blue Gold, and Thirsty Work all drop at the same time, and we can complete them in one run. Bin Pigs just wants to sell 50,000 credits worth of loot, which is very easy to do, as well as to have looted 3 containers. We'll complete that in our next raid. Enemy drops do not count. Then we have Blue Gold, which is to extract with a bottle of water, and I'm going to show you the best place to find them. And Thirsty Work, which just has the simple objective of fast travel, and we're going to fast travel back to Scorched Enclave because that's what we have on lock. As you can see, the only entry point we have available to us is the cemetery. The rest are locked by reputation with the various factions, which we can't affect yet. And popping in, you can see we're in the far south of the map, and we're going to be rushing up to here. This is the European bunker, and we'll be coming back to it several times. The easiest way from the cemetery is just to run alongside this battlement here, on the eastern side, which should avoid any enemy attention since everyone's going to be fighting up above us to the left. Then just jump on down, and we're in the hacking mini-game. This is just matching the pattern, so it's real fast, real simple. And then once we're inside, as you can see, there's lots of water around. This will be important for later, as well as a few loot containers. Grab absolutely everything that isn't nailed down and will fit in your icky little pockets. And if you need to take a rest, the bunker is entirely safe. Enemies cannot open doors. But once you're ready to boogie, we can rush on out. Our extract is to the northeast, so we're just going to skirt the next battlement and run across the field. And remember, suffer not a drone to live. There are often enemies guarding the extracts, but that is why we brought the USP to turn would-be obstacles into quick profits. Which wraps up the raid, and we're gone. But before we turn in our quest, we do have to visit the water tank, which is just around here, through the back of the innards, and all you have to do is stare at it in order to make your objective. And for the first time, we have some actual, real quest loot. Look at that, a rig container upgrade. You can install that by going over to rigs in your stash and then customize, and this will double the capacity of your backpack until you die and lose it. But we will get more later, don't worry. Which brings us to our biggest quest, quest number 8, Seek and Destroy. Hold on to your butt, scavs, we got a lot to talk about. So, yeah, Seek and Destroy. This is going to be the hardest quest we've tackled so far by a country mile. The objective is simple enough. Mark and kill 6 Eurasian units in Scorched Enclave. But Rose, that seems easier than mercy killing, the USP quest you recommended earlier. Yes, but shut up. That quest was optional. Meanwhile, Seek and Destroy gatekeeps the entire rest of the game, including all of the gun vendors. So here's what we're going to do, Reds. I'm going to show you multiple ways to accomplish this quest in Scorched Enclave using only the basic surplus gear. I'm going to let you know right now we're going to be relying pretty heavily on the shotgun, so bring some extra shot shells with you, and let's get to it. Look, he's running away. It's almost like he knows what I'm about to do. Absolute easiest and best case scenario is probably the bunker's entry point. What we're going to do is immediately break right and wrap around the northeastern battlement, and then just shoot all the way down the field here. I'm not going to say it's totally safe. You do have to avoid certain things like, fuck that. No thank you. But so long as you're moving quickly, you should be relatively unmolested. And once you reach this point, north-northwest of the northwest battlement and the large pipes running along the northern face of the map, we'll be right in line for that bad beauty right there, a Eurasian corpse bomber. And since we rushed up this way, there shouldn't be anyone else over here. Come on, lay 'em on me, alrighty-o. And then it's just a simple matter of sweeping up the trash. Like I said, start with a shotgun, it blasts the cyborgs pretty well up very close. Clean up with the surplus rifle if you have to, and then we can just keep going straight ahead towards our extract. Yippee-ki-yay. But as I said, this was the easiest and best case scenario. But things also aren't so bad if we start from this cemetery. From the cemetery, you're going to want to turn immediately to your right, going up through this eastern pass through the mountains as soon as you enter the map. And we're not going to be going very far at all to find our cyborg spawn. You're going to find yourself walking out onto the top of this little ledge right here next to the radar walker. Don't let that sit on you, it's an instant kill. And don't go any further, and this time we're going to start off with the surplus rifle. And there's our corpse bomber. The problem with this spawn is the Eurasians are going to start immediately attacking the Europans down in the map, so you're going to have to distract them, and that's why we have the surplus rifle first this time. Once you get their attention, they'll all start running up towards us, and you can switch to the shotgun again. Oh, and don't forget to mark them with Z! Then once you've got your kills, we have to make it to the other side of the map, which is why I kind of prefer the bunker spawn for this. But what I'm going to do is just going to rush down to the southeast and then across towards the pipe extract. The good news is there will be some containers to loot along the way. The bad news is there will definitely be more combat. This isn't really a longer route, but since we've already kind of waited for the enemies to disperse, there's going to be a lot more combat and danger involved. You never really know who you might run into. Like, hey, look, even more Eurasians, this time ones with actual guns. Sorry I killed your friends, guys. Don't worry, you won't miss them for long. But just past the northeastern battlement, and we are just about free. Minus the defenders, of course. Alright, now let's go on to entry point number 3. If you enter via the cliffs, just know that you have my sincerest apologies. Now, it's not all bad. I mean, we're practically on top of the northwestern cyborg spawn, so it should be easy to gather them, right? I mean, probably, unless you're like me and have the Rat King spawn in and start stomping on your behalf. Buddy, I love you, but you're not actually helping today. Though in this case, it won't matter, because we're going to cross the entire map right now. Fun fact, if you didn't spawn there, a bunch of cyborgs will start coming in through the cemetery. So we can clean them up, and if we stick around, the corpse bomber will drop even more on us, but we don't need to worry about that right now, because, yeah, see that icon up in the compass there? Notice how there's a circle on it this time? That's the Circle of Torment. Well, I guess technically it's supposed to be a Clock of Torment, but what that means is the cliffs entry comes with a timed extract, which means we need to activate it and then wait through a minute of waves of enemies. Yay! Skirting around the edges of the main combat zone, we find ourselves in our crucible, and happily there are tons of Eurasians around, so it's a target-rich environment if you need to get your kill count up. But from here, the priority is kind of just escaping, you know? Start the timer, and then you can run away. Honestly, if you're not confident dealing with the enemies, fucking off isn't a terrible strategy. The timer will keep going whether you're here or not. But boy, oh boy, will there be a lot of them when it's done. So, You can climb up over this rock right here, which will put you right on top of the extract. Do not go for the tunnels extract from here, because that'll start another 5-second wait time, or just go straight for the innards and we're gone. Okay. Seek and Destroy is completed, which means Kane has finally visited the innards. He's going to be our Eurasian quest giver over at the terminal, as well as a weapons vendor, so long as we have at least 4 water in the tank. Now, he still has a low opinion of us, and Kane isn't the best weapons vendor, but he does have AKs, which are the best thing he has. Do not, for the love of God, do not buy the Viclop. The VKS is the worst gun in the game, no competition. You can go watch my rifles video if you need proof. Do not waste your hard-earned credits buying that piece of shit. Which isn't to say that you can't buy good weapons, of course, though I do prefer mine for free. Though I might argue that weapons are not the primary upgrade you should be focused on if you want to extend your raids. For that, you need to get to 16 water. You just need Bundleton, the vendor, right away. First off, for rig upgrade items, you can upgrade your basic rig to double its capacity for 18,000 credits, which is nothing, which will really help you to bring supplies in and extract with more loot. Easily more than 18k's worth. And Bundleton also is our first font of permanent upgrades. In the upgraded rig frames, you do not lose these no matter what happens. And if you're having trouble picking one first, I recommend the Equipment Runner. It's pretty awesome. Not only can you start using it to gather a lot of water, but it's large enough that you can just start spamming loot all to get in and out of a map. But of course it does cost a fair amount of money, so let's discuss getting rich quick. Some of the more elite enemies out there, like HKs, EODs, Cultists, and Brawlers have a fair amount of good drops. And hell, even basic infantry can occasionally drop something good. But you should really focus on 3 types of static containers. The Bronze Medalist being the civil goods container. Basically anything electronic inside of it, it's fair game. Then you have military crates, which will have like military grade duct tape and lubricants and other things that are good value for money. And then materials containers, which are by far the best. Loot a couple of these and you'll probably have 100k in sellables. One thing you should not bother doing if you're looking up old guides though is hunting mechs. Codexes used to sell for 6 million each. Now they're under 33k, which ain't worth the trouble, rat. It's less than the ammo will cost to get one. But since we've touched on the rigs, let's talk about the other points of permanent progression. Outside of just prestiging up your characters, there's also your fast travel unlocks. Whenever you make it to a new map, including tunnels, for the first time you unlock it permanently for fast travel. Meaning you can just start your raid there if you want to spend some resources. And the tunnel maps only require water, nothing else. And no, you do not have to make it out of the map in order to unlock it. If you just reach there, you can die immediately afterwards and you still got it. And then we have the innards upgrades. There are a great many to choose from, but I'm just going to tell you the ones that I think you should prioritize myself. With the first being, honestly, all of the crafting tables, but especially the munitions bench. It allows you to build vast quantities of ammo, basically for free. It's not quite free, but you'll find these materials everywhere. But you can't just buy it, you need to have materials to make it. And you're going to find them primarily in the materials and civil goods bins, so focus on those if you're looking to unlock your innards upgrades. Civil goods bins particularly have the most tools in them, I find. And of course, the deeper into the maps you go, the better the loot is in each of these containers. Though weapons crafting right here is a little unique and it requires IFFs, these just drop off of enemies, each one being faction specific. Next up is the dog kennel. This one requires a food tin. You're going to find that in provisions crates and on dead enemies. And your dog is a scavenger too, and allows you to trade food for other materials. The mystery boxes give you can kind of be hit or miss. Sometimes they're lame like this one, and other times they're absolutely amazing. Your priority after that should be the bar. Not only does this give you more story opportunities as you upgrade it, but it also gives you session buffs, which are awesome. You just show up, take a drink, and then you get a random from a list boost that lasts until you end your game. And they're all pretty much ridiculously good. You also will eventually need the water tank upgrades to keep upgrading your innards. It's less of an advantage and more just a requirement. And the defense turrets will handle water thief raids for you. Once you get to level 3, you can practically AFK through them. But since raids start so small, you don't really need to prioritize getting them first. And from there, it's kind of dealer's choice what you want to prioritize. They'll maybe hold off on the TVs, or the speakers, or the shrine, or the Christmas tree. More might be added to those in the future, but right now they're just cosmetics for the innards. Alright, let's switch gears to the moment-to-moment gameplay then. I want to stress to you that the Forever Winter is not a stealth game. It is a shooter. You're not going to be able to avoid every fight, but you can avoid some fights. Even down in the tunnels, which are fairly confined spaces, so long as you know how enemy detection actually works. If you look at the symbols over the enemies' heads, those are targeting indicators. They are not necessarily awareness indicators. I understand there's some overlap and confusion there. Allow me to explain, because the game really doesn't. You make noise. Whether you're running, opening containers, using large equipment like the tac cam or the pneumatic jump, or definitely firing on suppressed weapons and setting off explosives, enemies will be drawn towards noises. And they won't necessarily have any indication over their heads about it. And this has led a lot of people who are making a lot of noise to feel like the game's cheating on them and telling the AI where they are at all times. It's not. Listen, I'm not gonna say the AI doesn't derp out, but that will almost always be to your advantage. If you open a door and everyone starts running towards that area, it's because you opened the door where they could hear it. And the enemies talk to each other. So if one sees you, their entire squad will see you instantly. But they don't really acknowledge if you kill one of them, so you kind of just chew through the guy sometimes. Even with an unsuppressed weapon, that'll draw them towards you, but they won't start targeting you until they see you, and their vision is very dependent on which direction they're facing. So if you want to sneak around them, just stay behind them and don't sprint. And definitely don't use the tac cam. Then when it comes to combat, I've told you about how you should use a 45, 308, or 50 cal gun, for headshots at least, which will instantly kill most enemies, but not every enemy has a head looking at you, drones, which is really where your 7.62, your 5.45, and your 5.56 automatic guns come in, and the 9mm, if you're desperate. Automatic weapons also stagger enemies, which can be very useful, particularly while dealing with cyborgs, and shotguns are really powerful, but also incredibly short-ranged. Like, they're not cylinder bore, they're blunderbuss bore.
Is this a joke? What is this, 1850?
Consider your shotgun your knife-fighting distance weapon. And if you want to kill groups, look at the cluster grenades. Ignore the frags, ignore the signal scrambler to grenades. Honestly, I use those never, and I doubt you will either. But the cluster grenades, 2 of them, always use them in pairs if you can, will just wreck an enemy squad. But that's enough of that for now, so let's get back to unlocking our quest terminal. Since we have Kane unlocked as a vendor, we can also go down to attachments, this little tab here on the left, and buy a muzzle device, specifically a suppressor. That'll help keep attention off of us for a little while, and we can just slap it on an AK. I still have the one we started the game with. And that can share a loadout space with the legally not a Spaz 12. Which should be a good setup for our next quest. Oh joy, Steel on High, or as it should be renamed, Pray! Pray to RNGesus, you fool! Because, oh boy, the objectives are straightforward enough. 1, kill 3 European drones, that's these guys. That part's easy, and then take 3 of their components back to Kane. That'll be these things, and they're actually called European flight controllers, so don't go looking for an item called a component. And boy, oh boy, is the drop rate, let's say, problematic. But we've got our rig upgrade, our weapons, let's get to it. We're as well off as we're gonna be. And oh, look! The tunnel's changed around. I did say this would happen. So this is still Tunnel A. It still goes to all of the same places, but now it's been reorganized. And I have to find a new way through a new maze. Don't laugh, it'll happen to you too. Thankfully, this is actually a quick and easy run and shouldn't cause me any problems. Unlike the entry point, oh joy, I got the best one, didn't I? Oh well, let's talk strategy. So the drones spawn high in the air above the map, primarily in 4 little zones. By far, the most European drones are going to spawn in the northwestern corner, over by the extract from the bunker's entry point. This is honestly going to be where I spend most of my time. And then down in the southeast by my current timed extract is another good spot to hunt them. Although there's a lot of enemies that spawn down there too, so I prefer the northwest myself. Additionally, there's a spawn right in the middle of the map in front of the water bunker, though there usually only seems to be 1 or 2, and it's very often Eurasian drones there, as well as up in the northeast by the pipes extract, which you get when you take the cemetery entry point. Like I said, I like my odds best in the northwest, so we're gonna head over there. Ah, see, here we have some friends now, and we're gonna shoot it down. Let's see what we get for the loot. And yeah, we don't have the part we want. This is probably gonna take a minute. This is Rat Flight Control to European Drone Flight 002. Get the fuck out of my skies. And you, boy, get off my lawn. I'm gonna keep killing you till I have what I need. Might as well just give me the flight controllers and hey, there we got one. Well, that's certainly not the right kind of drone. Well, might as well move on. Neither is that, neither is that. That might qualify as a European. No, never mind, it's Euruscan. Carry on, noble sky tank. Here's another flight of them to down. Oh, I'm spending so many bullets. I am the reason why ammo prices are through the roof, but I blame Kane, frankly. What do you think the likelihood any of these have the controllers on them is? Please. Please. I see there's a couple more over there, and, well, I didn't shoot them, but I don't need to. Let's go loot the thing, and... There's the last one, and... Oh, you son of a bitch! Dirty fucker. Well, you know, you can also find drones in the tunnels, but, less said about that, the better. Remember, when doing a corpse run, always get your revenge. Get out of my sky, flyboy! You know, normally after picking up a tombstone, I just say run for it, but I just saw one fall out of the sky over there. And here we go, the last controller, yes, and... Wait, what? I guess all of my RNG stockpiled in the end there and got 3 in 1. Why couldn't you have been the first drone, man? You could have saved so many lives. Oh well, we're done. And truth be told, rats, that took me 7 raids. 7! That was like an hour of my life. Getting the 3 kills took all of 20 seconds. But whatever, we're done and we can move on. And that's unlocked the next 2 Eurasian quests for us. Kane's Favored and Violence of Action. Let's take a look at Kane's Favored first, where Kane wants us to earn the Trusted reputation with the Eurasian faction. Now, we do have Kane available as a vendor, and you can increase reputation by buying and selling goods, but I sold him nearly 300,000 credits worth of, well, everything that I had looted, and that only got me to neutral with him. So I think this quest is one we're just gonna have to keep on in the back burner for now. But getting to neutral, while it didn't complete the quest, did unlock more of Kane's inventory and decrease the prices, so I think I might treat myself to a new optic and a suppressor for the USP, even though we won't need them for our next quest, Violence of Action. Extract from Scorched Enclave in under 90 seconds, and use a stimulant while we do it. Well, oh well, it's a good thing that we have been prioritizing Scav Girl, because she's the only scavenger I think you can do this with. I'm just gonna quickly spend some experience and unlock whatever stamina perks that I can. First 2, that's alright. 20% more. And we're going to fast travel to Scorched Enclave for this because we really want to be at the cemetery entry point. You might be able to pull this off from bunkers too, but I think cemetery is the best bet with the closest extraction. The stimulant regenerates our stamina and keeps it topped up for a few seconds. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna run through as fast as we can until we're almost out of stamina, then we're gonna pop the meds, woo, watch that bar halo, and keep running, trailing north along the western edge of the map, and then making a sharp turn around the northwest battlement and going straight for the pipe sexton, ignoring absolutely everything along the way. And on our way out, we got 75 seconds. Not so bad. And that is a quest done. Turning that in, Slade does have another quest for us right away, but before we start touching on another map, if we just back out and talk to Kane again, he does have another quest as well. Surface tension, and look at that, go to the water bunker. I told you it'd be important later. And it gives 3 water, not bad. By now this should be fast and easy for any of you who've been paying attention. Popping over to Scorched, I get my absolute favorite entry point once again at the cliffs. And from this direction I'm just gonna run straight across, and then as we enter the central valley, there are Europans up on the western flank, so I'm going to go down to the east. Wrap around, let myself in, loot some stuff, and we're good to go. We're making Kane proud, rats. Though not proud enough to complete Kane's Favored. Not yet, anyway. So let's talk to Slade, who it seems wants us to go to Ashen Mesa. Run the Mesa is another quick extraction quest, and it's the reason why I did the first one over at Scorched Enclave, to avoid repeating myself. Ashen Mesa is the other map available via Tunnel A, and since there are only 2 available via this tunnel, there's not a whole lot of mystery as to which direction we should be heading, since we already know where Scorched Enclave is. Though, ooh, this is my favorite obstacle in the tunnels. Let's see, luckily no enemies here today. Coming through this way via the pipes is just very, very threatening and hostile normally. But today we lucked out. Up and over and in. Oh goody, so we got the bunkers entry point. This is the southernmost entry for Ashen Mesa. Coming in from the bunkers, there will always be some European guards here, so let's just take them out real quick. Gotta love a suppressed USP. But we're just gonna run through this real quick as we are just doing the extraction quest. And directly in front of us is, well, the European bunker complex. We're going to go around the eastern side of it. There are a few ways to get across this, but what I'm going to do is just go up the ramp here and across, and we're gonna come down and fall through this little gap. And then from here, we're definitely not going to go to the west, because and instead go down the ramp and out. And run across this field here, as you can see on the map. There are a few extract points available, but I'm going to use probably the most popular and my personal favorite extract, which is the Eastern Bridge. Enjoy running across this field, by the way. It's probably the safest part of the map. Now we're just going to sneak through this rubble here, heading north through it. There are a few enemies at the mouth of the bridge. There always will be, since there's a spawn right here, but we can take them out real quick. And done. And now we're gonna run across. Now, across the bridge, there will pretty much always be some Europans and a whole buttload of cyborgs. Since we're still trying to do Kane's Favored, I'm going to try to avoid killing any of the cyborgs, as killing Eurasian forces does reduce the faction reputation. But there is a European soldier in the way, so might as well just pop him. And then I'm gonna break down into the right here, going across this little rubble bridge and down through these staircases towards our extract. Even though I think the Eurasians are pursuing me. I can't kill you guys, leave me alone. And we're out. And that quick little run won us a new friend, Luca, who's going to be our European quest giver. And he already has a fun quest to start us out with. Burst transmission. Yeah, it's looking like we're heading back to Scorched Enclave. By the end of this video, I expect you to just have the entire map burned into your brain, even if you haven't played the game yet. But today, we're going to be going for the radar walkers, which is dangerous, but something we're more than capable of handling. Coming in through the cemetery entry point, we're going to break right immediately to the east, going back up to the ledge where we fought the cyborgs, to meet our leggy friend here, who seems to have a thing for latex, but don't let them sit on you unless you're into death by snoo. This is a radar walker. There are 3 of them in every map, and they are sequenced. As you can see down here, this is number 2 out of 3, so we're going to have to go looking. Bringing up the map, you can see the radar walkers here. They're arranged around the outskirts of the map, and right now we're at the southernmost one. So I'm going to break across, down to the east, going to this spot right here, which is between the bunker's entry and the timed extract from the cliff's entry. And rushing over, luckily this is number 1 out of 1, and we already know where 2 out of 1 is, so we're just going to hack this guy real quick. Good news is with the walkers, there's only 3 icons to match, so they go real fast, but do not get them wrong or the walker will kill you. With number 1 hacked, we're going to go back the way we just came to number 2. Though it's worth noting, this is the order they are in for me on this raid. Their positions stay the same, but the order they're sequenced in changes every time you enter the map. And if that's a bit daunting for you, and you don't want to scout them out organically, you can always do this using Shaman and a TAC cam. Radar walkers are highlighted from a distance using the TAC cam, and if you're using Shaman, who has a special bonus, the next one in sequence will be blinking, which makes the whole process a little bit faster and safer. Now that we've made our way back, we're just going to quickly hack radar walker number 2. And then we're going to wrap around the perimeter all the way up to the northwest by the cliff's entry point to hack number 3. And since I mentioned safety before, you may have noticed that I've done this pretty much avoiding combat. Radar runs are one of the few times the game kind of is a stealthy game. More grungy Mirror's Edge than something like Thief, but it's a change of pace that I think a lot of you scavs might appreciate. Which actually, that's kind of off-brand for me. Let's up the stakes. To the water bunker. Let's steal some shit. Mine. Right, yes, radar walkers. Peacefulness. Correct. That's what we're doing here, right. Russian northwest, finding a walker, hacking it, all that good jazz, yeah. Now bear in mind, finishing this up is very dangerous. Yeah, you can see from the little message down here, we do have HKs on our ass now. But more importantly than that, we need to get some distance from this walker right now. We got incoming from above! Those little guys right there with the jetpacks are Eurasian opals, and they are way above our pay grade. They are invulnerable to damage, and they are attracted to whoever hacked the radars. Also any Europans around. So we're just gonna book it and boogie. And since we've escaped, having accomplished our goal, Luca's happy with us and will offer his services as a weapons vendor, assuming we have at least 11 water in the tank. And he has a much better stock than Kane, even at low reputation like he is right now. Completing that quest also got Scav Girl up to Prestige 5 for me, which is a great reason to only use one Scav, whoever you pick, for all these intro quests, because that completes the Hobo King, a quest from Slade that gives us a new rig, the Gunrunner rig. Now, the standard Gunrunner has the exact same loot capacity as the standard rig that we already had, so it's not an upgrade in that sense. But it does have a weapon rack on the side, and this allows us to pick up any broken and damaged weapons dropped by our enemies or spawned in the map, and either sell them like we're going to right now, or later when we buy the weapons repair station, we can fix them and use them for ourselves. Anywho, Luca has another quest for us at our very favorite spot. This one's called Eyes on the Sky, and he wants us to activate the Scorched Enclave radar tower, which is different from the radar walkers because confusion is the natural state for any scavenger in Los Angeles. In order to do this, we're going to need a jerry can full of fuel, which is a large item spawn. If we already have one, we can bring it in with us, but I don't, so we're going to have to find it on the map, which shouldn't be too difficult, as it should pop in any of the large item spawn points, which in Scorched Enclave means on top of the battlements. Popping in via the cemetery, I'm going to start by just running straight north towards the western palisade. There are a couple of large item spawns over here, one right here at the south, which doesn't have what we want, and then another by that little tower up there to the north of us, just past the Europans, that also doesn't have what we need. Next, I'm going to check this little area down below us that overlooks the bunker, and also no dice. Oh well. Into the bunker we go, hacking our way in. Okay. Despite this being the highest concentration of large item spawns on this map, there doesn't appear to be a jerry can here, so oh well. And I'm not going to pick up a water or anything because I need my large item slot. Guess this means we'll head back out and run up towards the northwestern bunker, because there's a spawn inside the little enclosed area past this Euruscan, who was guarding another large lockbox. Oh well. So might as well start running east, I guess. Over there, that is the generator that we need to bring the fuel to when we find it. But for now, up and over into the central fortification. There's a spawn here on the northern edge of it, which doesn't have what we need, and then over there, past our new friends, is another one that also is running dry. Oh well, let's check the northeastern battlement, and hey, there we go, Jerry can. It's good to meet you, Jerry. Just gonna pick this up and run back the way we came, over the center and to the generator. All you have to do is drop the can off right in front, and hey, there we go, Jenny's all hot and bothered for me. and as such, we can get the fuck out of here. Our job's done. Going back to Luca, our reward is him questioning our weapons proficiency. Is that a challenge, motherfucker? I guess he wants us to prove that we're level 5 with at least one weapon. And from my testing, surplus weapons don't count, so I recommend leveling up the AK just because they're cheap and easy to buy from Kane, and fairly effective. Level 5 from 0 should be like 30-ish kills, I believe. So you can get that done in one raid if you're careful, which should complete the quest. And pro tip, if you already have at least level 5 in a weapon, and the quest does not auto-complete when you take it, go on at least one raid. When you get back to the innards, that should be fixed. That's just a weird little bug that I noticed. And good news, I've finally looted enough shit to make Kane like me. I'm trusted now. And since we've achieved a best friend, Kane's favorite is now finally complete. My deeds are indeed inviolate, and I'm cleared to kill your guys again. Huzzah! Which sets us up beautifully for the next 3 quests, all of which are available now. Slade, over in the scavenger tab, has one called Roll Deep, where he wants us to go to Ashen Mesa with a skirmisher recruit. Recruits are NPC allies. You go buy them from the vendor tab from Slade. This motherfucker's just drumming up business at my expense. Anyways, we're gonna buy a skirmisher for about 4K. And then if you go over to the ready room, this tab here on the right where it says Hire Recruit allows us to add him into our party. And this little guy will follow us into our next raid. Back at the quest terminal, Luca has a quest for us called Nutty, where he wants me to test Kane's patience with a ratchet snaz gun. By modified weapon, he means any addition away from stock that you have, including just slapping a suppressor on it. But that does mean you have to part from the surplus guns yet again. I promise it'll be okay. And then to get back at him, Kane himself has a quest called Go Home Conscript, where he wants us to kill a bunch of European conscripts. That'll be these guys, and only these guys. If they have a helmet, you're looking at the wrong Europans. As well as bring back 5 level 1 IFFs. I already have those from my previous looting, but if you need to farm them, any European infantry will drop European IFFs, as well as European drones. With those 3 quests on our list, I think we're ready to head on out. So let's talk about our little friend here, the skirmisher recruit. By pointing and pressing B, we can order him to move around, which is great because he just does not understand personal space. Dude, move! I'm trying to set up an ambush. God, find your own hiding place. Unfortunately, he is a trigger-happy moron who will just attack anything he sees, but the good news is that we are in fact necromancers. What, did nobody tell you? It's one of the Rat King's blessings. Every time we enter a new map, this guy will pop right back to life. And Slade does not care if he lives or dies. The quest will complete either way, as long as we make it out of Ashen Mesa. Speaking of which, we are here. Entering into the map, I don't really have any specific plan for a route here. I'm just gonna sort of run around and kill shit over in the north, the center, and the eastern reaches. Your spawns will all be different, so I don't know how helpful this will be, but let's just get it done.
Let's have a kiki. I wanna have a kiki. Lock the doors. Right. Let's have a kiki. Motherfucker. I'm gonna let you have it. Let's have a kiki. I wanna have a kiki. Die. Turn. Work. Let's have a kiki. We're gonna serve. And work. And turn. And hunt. Let's have a kiki. I wanna have a kiki. Lock the doors. Right. Let's have a kiki. Hunty. Drop her. I'm gonna let you have it. Let's go.
And with that, 1 raid and 3 quests completed. Not too shabby, though. Turning them all in made Kane disappear off the quest board. I guess he doesn't have any more work for me right now, though he is still available as a vendor, as well as my good friend Bun's finally here. Guess I finally collected enough water. That will make progressing the other characters far easier. Anywho, back to Luca, who's decided that I did not kill enough Eurasians for him, since he has another quest called Under Phosphor Skies, to kill Eurasian torsos and runners. Runners is a weird way of putting things. If you're thinking the scramblers, which are the fast ones, no, they don't count. They mean the upright walking cyborgs, as well as the Eurasian soldiers, interestingly. This is a quick quest, you know how to do this by now. So let's take a look at what we've got left. And it's all from Slade, who wants us to go get him some toys, as well as build the TVs. So I guess they do technically have a use in the sense that they lock your progression. And it looks like we're gonna have to go start raiding some materials bins.
1 eternity later.
Ah, fuck, it's finally done. Ah, God, that took ages, man. These batteries, dude. These fucking rechargeable batteries. Do you remember how Scav Girl just hit Prestige 5? Yeah, well, now she's nearly 12. Okay, so these resources, right? Let me tell you where to get them. LCDs, you find these in materials containers. Same with the wires, although you also find those on damaged exos and drones, and exos drop loads of wires, so if you're having trouble finding those, go wait for something to kill an exo. I let a mech stomp on one. The printed circuit boards also come from materials bins, but also drones. Then you have the rechargeable batteries, which I came to hate slightly over the last day, because this did take all day. You find those in civil goods containers. And the same with the battery charger, which is probably the easiest thing for me to get. And in order to get all these things, you have to move past the initial maps. I'm sorry, the A containers just were not it. I found like nothing. Well, that's not true. I found all the toys that we needed for the other quest in Civil Goods A containers. So feel free to look there. Ashen Mesa and Scorched Enclave, both great. More specifically, the Civil Goods containers in Scorch spawn in the bunker, and on Ashen Mesa up on the gantries in the center north of the map. For the rechargeable batteries, I found them all in Tunnel C. Not Stairway Gate, not Frozen Swamp. There's not a lot of Civil Goods containers in those maps. Tunnel C itself, however, that was excellent. That's where I found all of them. Now, for the LCDs, I was finding them all right in B variant containers. So that's Tunnel B, or as I prefer, mech trenches. Just to show you a very quick example of how you can do a run in mech trenches for materials containers. On the second floor of the western edge of the map is the European materials room, and it, along with the western gantry, where there's another one, were where I found all of them. I got the LCDs I needed in about 3 raids, which used up all of the starting fast travel drones, but what can you do? I recommend saving those for this stage of the quest terminal unlock. Turning it in, Slade says people didn't feel like they deserved anything. I'll be honest, Slade, you didn't deserve me doing this. I feel like I deserve free recruits now. But, let's cleanse our spirits. Let's get back to the fun and turn in our toys, which Slade implies brings Bundleton into the innards, even though he was already here. Hey ho, I'm not gonna complain. I love my bun buns. Did you give me my fucking dinosaur? Bundleton, you're the best scavenger, I swear. And Bundleton is the one with our next quest. To just extract from Ashen Mesa with an upgraded rig and 50,000 credits worth of materials. That shouldn't take more than a moment. This is best done via the Ruins entry point, up in the northeast, because that'll allow us to just run straight west and into the little shanty town and up onto the gantries. The same ones I mentioned earlier for civil container hunting. There's like a 50-50 chance that some enemies will spawn up here, usually either some cyborgs or Europans. So just take them out real quick. And between the corpses and the containers, because look, there's 4 of them up here, and there will be another couple on the way out, we should be able to very rapidly just get our value up. And look, there we are, over 117,000 credits worth already. Not bad for a 3 to 4 minute raid, eh? So let's just run on out of here and bring it back to Bundleton. You know you love that shit. I do, Bun Buns, I do. For his next act, he wants to teach us about rig equipment, specifically the pneumatic jump, the best item in the game. You can buy them from Bundleton in his shop over at the large items tab up here on the right. And then he just wants us to extract from Tunnel A, just like our very first tunnel mission. Boing. Boing. I know this seems harmless, but it's not. All right, we can extract now. And by being Bundleton's product tester, we've earned his respect. Or at the very least convinced him that we don't value our self-preservation, because he has one last quest for us. That guy. I feel like I'm finally being recognized. Bunny wants us to go attract some HKs in Ashen Mesa. Now he says loot and shoot until they come for us. Looting won't really help, but shooting definitely will. So what do you rats say we go for a little walk? That felt good. Yeah. Let's turn it in. Aw, thank you, B. I am insane. Love you too. With that, rats, we finally unlocked the full quest terminal. Full scavenger quest, full European, full Eurasian, full Euruskin. Even Bunko wants to talk to us. All our trials and tribulations have been worth it. I think there's only one thing left to do. I mentioned before that you should focus on the bar after you get all these upgrades. But we need something for it. The bar supplies, which can only be found in downtown Los Angeles. And I want you to know something. I want you to have the confidence to do this. By this point, you've completed all these quests. You have all the tools and all the experience you need to get there. You can do this. So let's take Scav Girl out for one last raid. From the innards till the end, we'll make it through. Ah, and here we are, Lost Angels. The bar parts we're going to want are right in the middle of the map, at the highest point of the highest tower that we can access. We can try to be evasive if we want to, run and jump around, but it's going to be a fight to get there. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. I don't think you rats would either. Getting past Tunnel D is an experience. It deserves a challenge at the end. These last maps are the closest thing we get to a boss fight. Enemies everywhere, dangerous corners, the whole world turning against us. But hey, at least we've got each other, right? Going up this final staircase. There's a whole lot of drones to handle up here. And we shouldn't stay long, there will just be more. But there they are. There they are. Alright, let's extract back the innards. And with that, we can finally wrap things up. My friends, thank you for watching to the end. As I mentioned in the beginning, this was a follow-up to my original New Player's Guide. So if you still have any questions that I didn't answer in this video, go check the old one. What you're looking for is probably in there. And everyone, if you wouldn't mind, give some love to the patrons that support this channel. Mareem23, Lord of Rex, Luvok T. Skellerman, An Ordinary Goose, Some Guy, Papa, Asunaweeb04, Biz, Why So Salty, Baku Takamine, Who Needs Stano, The Sect Blabbeth, Last Tugboat, and my newest patron, Biggest Dickus. This channel is entirely funded by their efforts, and theirs alone. No sponsors, no ad revenue. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your names.